we'll now look at marketing. Let's click onto the menu on the left, click onto the marketing heading, and specifically communications. Clicking into here will load your template library, so any previously created communication will be displayed. So this could either be an eShot or an SMS. So as you can see in this particular example, we've got Ocean Hotel eShot, and it's visit based with no date range, none sent currently, the date it was created, and the fact that it's actually in development, so it hasn't been published just yet. Below that though, we then have a birthday SMS. As you can see, it's a birthday type, it's got a date range, so a start date and no end date. None have been sent. Again, the date it was created, and this one has actually been published, and also the published date. So you can see it's actually live and ready to go out as soon as the criteria is met. Now you have the menu option, so from here you're able to edit, so that will take you into the eShot or SMS, allowing you to edit the details. You've got update details, so that will allow you to update the name, perhaps the type. So you can see here, change the name or update the parameter type. You can duplicate, so again, similar to with the way the splash pages work, if you already add some imagery, some logos, etc., you just want to change maybe some of the content, you can quite quickly duplicate it to save you some time. You can preview this, and then finally you can delete. Any that are published, you won't have the ability to edit the content because it has been published. So as you can see, you can't click into here to change any of the details. So you would simply just duplicate that one or create a fresh one from scratch. Now at the top you do have the create new button, and we also have the settings button. Now the settings button will allow you to use a custom email. So this is specifically for eShots and not SMS. So if you wanted to send out an eShot using your own email, you can turn this toggle on, enter the eShot name, set the eShot email, and click submit. And then what will happen, it will then get sent off to the Amazon verification team. They'll then send an email to that account asking you to verify. Once verified, any future eShots that get sent out will go from that email address. Back to the library. So let's click into the actual eShot itself. So I'm going to click into the one we've already created. So I'm going to click onto the name. And as you can see then it loads up. On the left hand side you've got your area where you actually create the eShot, and then on the right you've got your venues and parameters and any filters and user demographic. So the first thing, with it being an eShot, is going to go out via email, so you've got the email subject line. So in here you can enter your text. Below that you've then got the colour code, so you can choose one of our predefined colours, or again use the custom picker and you're able to add in your own RGB colour scheme so it matches perfectly. Now you can see we've got a number of elements already created in here, but you've got the add element button. So essentially you can add a title, you can add text, you can add an image, ribbon and date range. And again, wherever there's an image, it will always give you the format and the pixel size. Now once you add an element, on the left hand side you can see you have the move icon, so you can change the position of that element. Or you also have the bin icon, so that will delete that particular element from there completely. Now you notice when I do hover over anything that's an image, so either the logo or the image itself, it gives you the pixel format but also an image URL. So what this allows you to do is actually make this particular eShot also a campaign. So once you add a URL within the image, you can just leave it as a URL, so anybody that receives this eShot, once they click onto there, it will redirect them to the specified URL. But you can also run it as a campaign, so very similar to the online splash page. So you can actually see exactly how many people have seen it and how many have physically clicked that link. So all you need to do is give it a name, click OK, and then as I've said, once that goes out to any users and they click onto there, that will all be registered within the campaign area. Now you do have the option at the bottom here as well, but because we've already turned it on within the image, this option is greyed out. If we hadn't turned it on here, we could just simply turn it on at the bottom here as well. At the bottom here, because we're creating this at company level, it's just giving you an idea of how many visitors this is likely to go out to. So again, this is a demo portal, so there's no historic data, but you could have here multiple numbers of users, so you can see exactly how many are likely to receive it. And as you change this criteria on the right, these numbers will also change. So for example, if you then change it from all users to just females, then it's more likely to go down. So venues and parameters, we've got ownership level is company, and because we are at company level, we can select which particular venues we want it to be live at. So it could be just the one. And if I scroll down now, you can see it only gives me the one venue. We can say include visitors from the very beginning. Do not send to past visitors, so we're only targeting future visitors, or we can set a specific date range. We can then continue until cancelled, until I essentially click delete, or we can do not send to future visitors, so only targeting previous ones, or again, set a particular date range. Finally, you can then add some filters, so your user demographic. So that would mean they'd only go to specific users, depending on what criteria you specify in here. So you could turn that off, so it literally goes to everybody. But if you do turn it on, because of the particular type we selected, which was visit type, we can do by age, gender, visits, or has visited. So this one is currently set to 2 or more visits. So it's like a loyalty scheme almost. But we could add to that and say also female. So not only do they have to be more than 2 times, it has to be female. Or you can add another rule set and use the or their age is 35, perhaps, for example. So either they've been 2 or more times than the female, or their age is 35. You can save that, and then those changes are in place. So we can preview to see what it looks like, and you can also send a test, so that will allow you to enter an email, so you'll receive this eShot as if you were like an end user, so you can see exactly how it looks. We're still currently in preview mode, so I click the edit button, it takes me back to be able to edit the contents. So once you've saved, if I return back to the library, you can see there's our eShot. It's not currently published, so it's not going to go out to anybody. And again, because we're in the demo portal, we're not able to publish this. But if you did publish, that would then go out instantly if anybody met that particular criteria. Now if I jump into the birthday SMS, we can't change anything because it's been published, but in here is a free-form text box. So you could add to this if it wasn't published. But essentially, because it is a text message, it tells you how many character count. If you go over 220, the SMS count goes up to 2. So obviously every one user would need 2 text messages to receive this particular message. And then below, it will tell you an estimate of, again, when you've selected the relevant venues, how many people it's going to go out to. So, but again, won't allow anything because we've published. So if I return back to the library and click the Create New Template button, you can see you can give the template a name, and then you've got a selection of either eShot or SMS. So if I just choose SMS first of all, you can do visit based, so that could be like a loyalty scheme once it's been 5 times. You've got dwell based. Dwell based is specific to certain hardware. You have to have a location license, and it triangulates where that user is. When they're stood in a particular zone for X amount of time, you can have the system to automatically send them out an eShot. Top customers, so top 10, top 25 or top 50 customers who come to our venue. Anybody with their birthday, so the day before the birthday, a week before or 2 weeks before. Online now, so any users that are in the venue, irrelevant of what hardware you have. And then Logic Flow, if you want to use, if you're using Logic Flow to send out communications, you would need to create a Logic Flow type. Now you can't publish Logic Flow type communications, but you can create them, and then you will allow the Logic Flow to take care of when and where they get sent. So I'm going to choose top customers, click OK, and then it will create my screen. So as we saw, I can enter my message. It tells me currently how many characters. Currently got all the venues, but I can select, as we did before, I can select whether it's going to be my top 10, top 25 or top 50. You can see below, this would list my top 10. And again, I can add the relevant rule set, age, gender, last visited and visited, as we saw in the previous example. If you create a new eShot, so again, I'll just call this one, you get the same options available to you. And if we choose Logic Flow, for example, and click OK, the screen is blank. You can add the relevant elements as we saw before. Once you've added these, there's no publish button as I mentioned. You would simply select the venue it's for, click Save, and then that would be available for you in your Logic Flow if you wanted to set one up and use that particular feature. Finally, at the top, we have system templates. We only have the one in here, which is a birthday invite. So again, you can duplicate this to use as your core file or preview to have a look. But back into my templates. So in here you can see we've got two published. It says published here because it's logic flow. So it's not going to go out until the logic flow is created. But these are now available to either publish or look at the reports on the information that's been sent out.